Tonight, WWE presents a brand new episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown on the USA Network. Of course, it's the post-Crown Jewel Perth edition of the show. And with WWE now looking forward to an upcoming episode of Saturday Night's main event, in addition to Survivor Series War Games next month, could Paul Triple H Levesque and his creative team have some major surprises planned? We're going to let you know 5 possible major surprises that could take place tonight live on WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And tonight, it's a brand new episode of WWE Friday Night SmackDown on USA Network. Of course, they're back in the United States after the Australia tour that saw SmackDown last week emanate from Perth, Australia. Then we had Crown Jewel Perth the next day. In addition to that, of course, we had Monday Night Raw taking place in the same location this past Monday. But now they're back stateside, and tonight's episode of WWE SmackDown is emanating from the SAP Center in San Jose, California, back in its regular time slot. And as I mentioned in the intro for this video, we are now looking forward to an upcoming episode of Saturday Night's main event that's taking place from Salt Lake City, Utah on November 1st next month. In addition to, of course, Survivor Series War Games set to take place next month as well from San Diego. And with that being said, with those big events on the horizon, could Paul Triple H Levesque and his creative team have some major surprises planned for the post-Crown Jewel episode of SmackDown tonight? Let's get into them, beginning with Jacob Fatu. This is a really big story at the moment regarding Jacob Fatu and a possible major injury that could rule him out for the foreseeable future. It's a really unfortunate situation going on right now with Jacob Fatu because, of course, he'd just come back to television. There was this kind of thought coming with Fatu that maybe now that he was out of the United States Championship picture, he was possibly going to be turning his attention to maybe the WWE Championship as well. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Now, he's set to face off against Drew McIntyre later this evening on SmackDown, but according to a new report from Body Slam, the Samoan Werewolf has reportedly suffered what is being described as a non-wrestling related injury, and it's expected that he could be out of action until early 2026. Now, this led to people saying, well, this match that's scheduled to take place between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu tonight surely is not going to happen. But interestingly, SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis took to social media Thursday night to confirm that McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu is indeed still on. Now, if Fatu's truly unable to compete, what that would mean for the finish of this match, if we get one at all, what it would mean for the future of Drew McIntyre as well. Of course, McIntyre could be set to maybe go once again up against Cody Rhodes. We'll talk about that a little bit later on because, of course, Drew McIntyre and Fatu have had their sights both set on Cody Rhodes' WWE Championship, but first they have to settle their issues, and they're going to be doing that tonight. So, given the fact that Fatu is seemingly struggling with what is being called a non-wrestling related injury, which I don't know what that means. It means he suffered his injury outside of wrestling, I guess, maybe. You know, we've had people in the past suffer injuries outside of the wrestling ring, whether it was Cody Rhodes or The Undertaker, suffering both torn pectoral muscles actually in the gym. Maybe that's the case for Fatu. Either way, considering the reports of the injury, considering reports of a timeline until not being back until early 2026, I would assume that Fatu probably can't compete tonight against McIntyre, so don't be too shocked if we see some kind of angle, some kind of way that before the match can even take place, Drew McIntyre is taken out, Jacob Fatu backstage, and McIntyre attacks Fatu and leaves him, not in a pool of blood, but leaves him unable to compete tonight. Or maybe it's a situation where a mystery attacker happens. Someone takes out Jacob Fatu. That's not Drew McIntyre. Or maybe we have a situation where Solo Sikoa and his, I guess, MFTs, this new iteration of the MFTs, Tamatonga's back, they're ready and back in full force as we saw last week on SmackDown. Maybe they take out a former member of their faction, but I think we see a scenario where the former United States champion gets written off TV tonight, and maybe his match against McIntyre doesn't even happen whatsoever. Now, before we move on to the next on this countdown list, a reminder that this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our great affiliates. That includes NordVPN right there. You can see in the sidebar, you can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra if you're in the United States. All you have to do is scan the QR code, or you can visit our brand new link. The old one was maybe a bit long and a bit confusing, so we've come together with NordVPN and said, let's get a specific link. We have nordvpn.com/WN365. How easy is that? Once again, nordvpn.com/WN365. You can save yourself some money, and you can make this whole watching pro wrestling thing so much easier. Tonight's episode of SmackDown in the United States does air on USA Network. Not everyone has cable nowadays. You can actually simplify your WWE viewership experience and watch all WWE programming via one Netflix subscription. All you have to do is get a VPN, then change your location to an international territory like here in the UK. You can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WWE PLEs, NXT PLEs. You can watch Saturday Night's Main Event that's coming up on November 1st, and it's going to be John Cena's retirement match in December for free on YouTube. So that way you avoid having to go to the CW to watch NXT, go to USA to watch SmackDown, have to pay for ESPN to watch WWE main roster PLEs, avoid Peacock for Saturday Night's Main Event and NXT PLEs. You can watch all of your WWE content in one place on Netflix. Use our link. It's available in the video description below. It's pinned in the comment section as well. Save yourself some money and also support Wrestle News 365 in the process. Your support is really much appreciated. Loads of people using this link and sharing positive things with us. So if you haven't already, be sure to use it. It's a great experience. Let's move on and talk about Sami Zayn, of course, the WWE United States Champion. It's another episode of SmackDown, so that would suggest that we're going to have a United States Championship Open Challenge. It's really become, hasn't it, must-watch television on Friday nights. A lot of people have been saying, look, the quality of some of these episodes of SmackDown, maybe not last week's. Last week was probably the best episode of SmackDown in quite some time amid rumors of a creative shakeup. But Sami Zayn's US Open Challenge has really become must-watch television. It's become the highlight for a lot of people every Friday night on SmackDown. His battle with Shinsuke Nakamura, a returning Shinsuke Nakamura last week, old entrance theme and all, was interrupted by Solo Sikoa, a returning Tama Tonga, and the rest of the MFTs. So the question is, who is Sami Zayn going to face tonight on SmackDown? Is it going to be once again a rematch between he and Shinsuke Nakamura? I think that's entirely possible. We didn't get an outcome last week, so maybe we will this week, and Sami Zayn retains the United States Championship in the process. I don't think Zayn is going to be dropping the US title anytime soon. Maybe we see the MFTs run roughshod over SmackDown tonight. I speak about Jacob Fatu maybe being taken out by them. Who's to say that it isn't Solo Sikoa who this time gets in there first, and maybe Shinsuke Nakamura causes the disqualification, and maybe we lead to perhaps a triple threat match taking place, let's say at Saturday Night's Main Event or something like that. So Zayn will once again be defending the United States Championship in the Open Challenge. Now, I don't think that's been officially confirmed as of right now, so it's not officially, I think, listed, but it's been happening every single week, so it would make sense, of course, that it's going to happen once again on SmackDown tonight. If I had to have a prediction as to who's going to answer this Open Challenge, I think the safe bet is it's either going to be Nakamura once again, or maybe Solo Sikoa this time and Nakamura gets involved and we build to a future championship match. Either way, Sami Zayn, he's leaving SmackDown tonight, still the United States Champion. I don't think we have to have any concerns about that. Let's move on and talk about another title match set for tonight's episode of SmackDown, that being the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Yes, the Women's Tag Team titles are guaranteed to be on the line today, as Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are set to defend their championships against the NXT Women's North American Champion Sol Ruca. Of course, she's also the Women's Speed Champion. And Zarya, that being Zaruka, the tag team name. The NXT stars pleaded their case for this opportunity last week. They've actually been on the last few episodes of SmackDown, haven't they? And the champions told them to give their best shots, and indeed, they are getting their opportunity tonight on SmackDown with the titles on the line. Now, while Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss see a ton of potential in Sol Ruca and Zarya, they don't necessarily believe they're ready to challenge for the women's tag team titles after they defeated the Green Regime 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. However, Charlotte and Alexa gave Ruca and Zarya the opportunity they were desperately seeking. I think we have the tag team champions retain their titles this evening. I don't expect a title change, although Triple H has been known to swap tag team championships on either the go home episode of SmackDown and Raw or the post episodes after PLE's episodes of Raw or SmackDown. So we could see maybe a bit of a shock here, and maybe this is a storyline That bleeds over onto NXT television. We have seen a lot of main roster crossover over the last couple of years on NXT TV. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, of course. A ton of history on that brand. I don't really see it, though. I see it as a scenario to highlight an up-and-coming set of superstars that will probably be on the main roster sooner rather than later. But I think Flair and Bliss, look, they're a very popular individually. They're two of the biggest stars in the women's division individually. As a tag team, they're very popular. It's probably the most likable Charlotte Flair has been on television for quite some time as well. And it's working. And I don't think WWE would be looking to split them up anytime soon. I think they're playing the long game. And also, you don't really need to see Charlotte Flair in the women's championship picture anymore, for at least for quite some time. So it really does kill two birds with one stone. It keeps these two on television. It actually adds something to the women's tag team championships, and you can also help elevate other tag teams as well. You need a lot of tag teams to have a thriving tag team division. It's hardly rocket science there, is it? So I think Flair and Bliss retain their tag team championships tonight, but I think we also have a match that does effectively highlight and spotlight the NXT tag team of Sol Ruca and Zarya. Next up on the bill for SmackDown tonight, do we get some explanation as to what's going on with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega? Of course, last week's episode of SmackDown, we saw a last man standing match between Damian Priest and Aleister Black, and Black was victorious, and it was a shocking development when we saw Zelina Vega come out and assist her husband Aleister Black on WWE television for the first time. Now, Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, they've been a couple for a very long time. I think going back to when they were working together in NXT, and that was in like 2017, 2018. I don't know if they were officially a couple by that point, but that's, I think, when they started sort of getting closer together. So they've been together for quite some time. Of course, that was when Zelina Vega was with Andrade, and Aleister Black was really taking NXT by storm. It was during the time which he was becoming NXT champion, hugely popular, and a really significant figure in Triple H's black and gold iteration of WWE's developmental brand. Now, for years, of course, they've been separated for a variety of reasons, actually. At one point, Zelina Vega was fired from WWE whilst Aleister Black was still there. Then she came back, and then, of course, Aleister Black was released by WWE at a time which they were releasing everyone. He went to AEW, became Malachi Black for a long period of time, eventually left AEW, went back to WWE, and initially, of course, Black was doing his own thing as a singles talent. Vega was having success as a Women's United States champion, even though I think her reign as champion left a lot to be desired, and I don't think she was the right choice to put the belt on her, as the matches kind of showed there. But it's an interesting and unique pairing. Aleister Black's character in WWE, particularly in his first tenure, was very much this kind of mystical, mysterious, supernatural-esque character, and you would never really associate him with having a significant other, partner, if you will. But since Aleister Black's come back to WWE, yes, he's still maintained that, but he's maybe shown a bit more of a human element, and it's really interesting to see where WWE is going to go with this real-life husband and wife partnership. I mean, the thing is with pro wrestling, isn't it, now, is that kayfabe is dead. Everybody knows these people are, engaged, married, together, partners on, the main roster and developmental. There is a ton of real-life WWE couples, whether it's Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, whether it's Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, whether it's, you can pick and choose a lot of different people, right, that are real-life couples. So I'm really interested to see where this one goes. I think we're going to get some kind of an explanation. It's not necessarily a difficult one to do. He's my husband, so I decided to protect him. Or maybe they decide not to go down that route at all and they don't even address the real life thing. I think in an era which you've got WWE Unreal on Netflix exposing the business, I think they go down the route of reality here and explain that they are together. And it's a completely different character for them both to portray, isn't it? So I think we get some kind of explanation this evening on SmackDown. And finally, Cody Rhodes. He's going to speak. He's been advertised for tonight's episode of SmackDown, and he's coming off a rare PLE loss. Cody Rhodes doesn't lose that much, of course, does he? No, he does not. And Cody Rhodes, he had to eat, some big moves, to say the least. You had weapons, you had super finishes, you had it all. And he was defeated by Seth Rollins at WWE Crown Jewel Perth. It's the first time he's ever lost to Seth Rollins, and now it's a big question of, isn't it? What happens next? What do we see here? How will the American Nightmare respond after suffering his first loss to Seth Rollins since returning to WWE over 3 years ago? Now, what will this mean for him? I think we're going to probably find out who his next opponent could be, and there was a lot of speculation that maybe it could be both Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. Maybe we could have a situation where it's a triple threat match. Of course, Cody's already defeated Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza. So would they go back to the McIntyre-Cody Rhodes feud? I suppose they could, particularly if Jacob Fatu is going to be out of action for quite some time. We could have maybe McIntyre versus Rhodes in a rematch. Maybe not for Survivor Series. That's going to be the War Games match, isn't it? We don't know what Cody Rhodes' involvement in that is going to be. But certainly for Saturday night's main event coming up November 1st from Salt Lake City, Utah, maybe we get a rematch between McIntyre and Cody, and really that's kind of firmed up tonight on SmackDown. I know a lot of time in these surprise videos I pitched the idea of Randy Orton finally turning on Rhodes. I don't think it happens tonight on SmackDown, but what we could see is maybe seeds being planted. If there's anyone that's going to console Cody Rhodes after losing that big high-profile match, it's going to be his mentor in the Viper, and maybe we see some subtle teases and maybe some subtle hints. Maybe that's the territory that we could go in. But I think first we're focusing on Saturday night's main event. Maybe that's where the turn actually happens from Randy as we get closer to WrestleMania season. But I think we find out who Cody Rhodes' next opponent is, and I wouldn't be too shocked if it indeed is McIntyre after his program of Fatu is wrapped up. So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises that could take place tonight live on WWE Friday Night SmackDown. What are your thoughts? Let me know your opinions, your hot takes, your feelings, as always, in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there, we are less than 400 away from 25,000, our goal to get to 25k in 2025. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. And of course, utilize our link to get up to 77% off, plus 3 months extra for NordVPN. That's the offer for those in the United States. I think around the world, you can still get up to 73% off, plus added perks. You can find them all out. Click the link in the video description, scan the QR code. It's in the comment section as well. Use our link, our brand new link, that is nordvpn.com/WN365. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/WN365. Save yourself some money. You can support the channel in the process. Your support is really appreciated. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.